I would like to welcome you all to our webinar, Culture, Gastronomy and Territorial Food Brands. This webinar is presented in the scope of Food Corridors, an URBACT network composed by 6 European partners from Estonia, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Portugal, Romania, and Slovenia. Our network is committed to the design of food plans that aims to facilitate urban-rural connections and sustainability concerns. It is also about quality production, cultural identity, short food supply chains, and gastronomy. And to relate it to this, we must highlight the fact that in 2021-2022, Slovenia and Coimbra are European regions of gastronomy. So this webinar is a relevant event in this process. I would like also to thank our speakers that are here with us today. Adele Bucella, Head of Unit Projects and Programming URBACT. Tudor Drambarian, representative of Alba Iulia Municipality, that is one of our Food Corridors partners. Antonio Zafra is our lead expert in our project, in our Food Corridors. Diane Dodd, President of IVCAT, International Institute of Gastronomy, Culture, Arts and Tourism. Barbara Smlikar, Head of Department of Research, Development, Innovation and Euro Projects from Slovenia Tourism Board. And Elena Svenkel, Director for Research and Development for PSC and Regional Development Agency of Gorenska, also one of our Food Corridors partners. Thank you once again for joining us with us today in this webinar that I hope will be a platform of changes and knowledge for all of us. Thank you. And now I'll pass the word to Adele, please. She's going to talk about and welcome us in the URBACT program. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to be back with the Food Corridors Network. I had the pleasure to meet some of you in Italy in your phase 1 project, and again at your kickoff meeting in June last year online. And since then, we've been online ever since, but it's really great to be here, and I'm very pleased to see you all again now in this thematic webinar on gastronomy, culture and territorial branding. So city branding is not a new topic to URBACT, and you have one of the leading EU cities in your network with Alba Iulia, who are also leading another URBACT network called Find Your Greatness, and we'll hear, I think, later on from them today. And city branding itself is a tool to improve the attractiveness and competitiveness of cities, especially small and medium-sized cities like the ones in your network. And with this focus on the local population, on tourism, and using city branding as a strategic tool, it can really help smaller cities gain an advantage, a competitive advantage. And I think Alba Iulia will probably give us a lot more detail on how to do that later today. Your network obviously is focusing on city branding of on the topic of food, food culture and gastronomy, to be more specific. And the URBACT programme actually promotes integrated and sustainable urban development, as you probably know. And this topic ticks all of those boxes. So looking both at the economical, the social and the environmental benefits, and even the territorial aspects of urban and rural linkages. So you're really right on the topic for an URBACT network. I wanted to just tell you about a new topic that we're interested in specifically in URBACT at the moment, related to food. We've just launched our URBACT Food Knowledge Hub. I'll put the link into the chat for you so you can take a look. We've got 4 active networks dealing with the theme of food in its broadest sense. And we have several others that are already completed. And I think that this compendium of good practices and useful city ideas is really relevant for you. So as I said, I'll share the link in the chat and you can have a look at that after the meeting or when you have a 5-minute spare time. So back to today's agenda. It's a very rich series of contributions, I think, highlighting the experience from Alba Iulia, but also looking at the Portuguese and the Slovenian case studies of as European regions of gastronomy. What a pity that we can't be in one of those lovely cities to taste the proof of these awards. Wouldn't that be nice to have some great, delicious food and company? Unfortunately, we can't do that. We're still online, but hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be able to have some real physical meetings. So welcome everyone on behalf of the EURBAC program. Thank you very much for inviting me along. I'm going to stay and listen with interest to all of your stories and your presentations. So have a great meeting. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Raquel, for your introduction. And I would like now to call Tudor to speak with us about territorial branding strategy, the case of Alba Iulia.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I apologize. I have to keep my camera off because I have an internet connection problem. And I really hope that you will be able to see my presentation. I'm trying to open it now. Unfortunately, it's in Portuguese, so I'm hoping that Vera can help me at least with the presentation.
Okay, click on the third button.
Okay.
And share your PowerPoint.
It opened a new slide. I don't know.
Do you want me to share your presentation?
Yeah, I think it's best. I think it's
okay.
best, please.
Okay, I'll do it.
Thank you. Can I just say greetings to Adele? It's very nice to have her here, and thank you very much for all the kind words said about Alba Iulia and about the other partner cities. We're also hoping that in the near future we'll have the chance to meet in physical because it's been quite challenging with all the online meetings, and it's just not the same feeling of EURBAC, of engaging with stakeholders, with other city partners. At transnational level. So really looking forward to the not so distant future, as you said, Adele. So this is our short presentation. I'll try to be quick because it has a few slides. I'm going to talk about Alba Iulia in the context of city branding and to share some of our experience that has happened in the last 10 years in this area. So Vera, please start with me. So Alba Iulia, as you know, it's a not so large city situated in Transylvania, and it's actually the first city in the country to have a city branding strategy and a branding manual. It's one of the pioneer cities in this area, if you want. Please. We say that Alba Iulia is the greatest capital that you've never heard of, and indeed this is true because from a 70,000 inhabitant city, you can't compare to other well-renowned cities in Europe like Paris, Amsterdam, or London, just to name a few, not even with our capital city, Bucharest, which is at least 20 times larger than ourselves. Nevertheless, 10 years ago, we've decided to start an ambitious project and to build the first city branding strategy in Romania. This is where it all started from. This is the heart of the city, Alba Iulia. And what you see is the largest fortress in Romania, a Walbenstarp-shaped fortress built on top of a Roman castrum and a medieval citadel. So this is the third fortress which actually shows the overlayers of different sides of history, starting from the Roman and going to the modern era. Actually, 2,000 years of history are comprised here. So this is where it all started. And this is what we've developed, the first logos of the municipality, which of course are inspired from the shape of the fortress city, and the colors and all the combinations that you see are inspired from the colors that you saw in the previous image. It's not just a logo, it's actually is the first branding strategy that we've built, and this is a branding manual. Vera, if you can show the next slide, I will be able to to show more. So the first branding manual, which was put for free at the disposal of everyone, all businesses, even other cities in the country, which can take inspiration from this branding manual. And this was built in the last 10 years alone. We tend to say that we're nobody, being so small and from no man's land, from the heart of Transylvania. We cannot even compare to the closest city, which is Cluj-Napoca, and it's almost 500,000 people. Not to mention Bucharest, which is 2.5 million. Nevertheless, just to show you a comparison, how tiny we are. Nevertheless, this David and Goliath fight, as we like to call it, between us and bigger cities has determined us to be more ambitious and to grow our perception. How did we become a known city? There's many projects where we've been involved already, and a lot of cities have heard of us in Europe. This is how our story begins. As I've said, we've been around for 2,000 years. We've discovered that the history of the city is the most important asset that we've had. And the fact that Alba Iulia was a city capital for nearly 2 years, it's what makes it spectacular. It's been a capital city in Roman times, and then it was the medieval capital of Transylvania for nearly 150 years. And actually, it's one of the most important places in Romania because it's the place where Romanian history came to shape the country and where the unification of Romania became reality in 1918. So we like to say it's also the capital of hearts of our country. As I've said, the fortress being the main attraction was the biggest project of retrofitting that happened in the last 10 years. Thanks to the EU funding that we've acquired, over 50 million euros were transformed into this beautiful fortress, and nearly 200 million euros were absorbed by the municipality for other development projects, just to restore the city to its former glory. So we believe that through these good practices that we mentioned, we can become a symbol for European unity because of Alba Iulia's multicultural layers and because of what it has become today. It's a European symbol of success. It might not be Romania's actual capital, but for certainly Alba Iulia is the other capital of Romania. It's very ambitious. It sounds very challenging, but we've been sitting for 300 years on this touristic gold mine, and no one really knew about it. And this is how the city found its new identity. It's through this fortress situated in the heart of its territory. Romania's other capital had a big secret, which was the biggest fortress in the country. And we hope you will come soon to visit. The other capital is not only a historic place, but we realize we can become a capital of festivals, a capital of youth, of art, of medieval history, of ecumenical activities, and so on. It can be so much more than just a touristic hotspot. Due to these numerous achievements, we've received awards also from the European Union. For example, from the European Commission, we received the prize for the restoration projects in 2016. We were awarded by the EDEN network and also by Europa Nostra, two of the well-known organizations in Europe. Also, we've been involved as a city partner in another project under URBAC 2 program called City Logo, which had the aim of developing city branding strategies and transferring this knowledge between city partners. Today, we tend to say that we are one of the leading examples in city marketing, not only in Romania, but also at the European Union level. And this is one example, which Adele also mentioned, is the Find Your Greatest project, where Alba Iulia is a lead partner. Also, we've been very involved in the digital area as well, and we've become one of the first cities in the country with an integrated digital welcome pack for tourists. And this especially in the last years when we've had before the pandemic, we've had nearly 500,000 visitors in 2018 in the city. Also important to say, in 2018, Alba Iulia has become one of the first smart cities in the country with over 100 smart city solutions implemented. And this is just to show you an example of reenactments that's happening, activities that happen at the city level, which attract thousands of visitors each year. Now, how can we create synergies with other European projects? For example, with Food Corridors project, where we are a city partner and we're very proud of that. The impact of city branding strategy at local level has been quite considerable. If we just see a few examples where the HoReCa sector has used the branding strategy for their own purpose, as I've said, for free, but in developing new products, in showing their new identity, which was connected to the fortress. So we created an immediate attraction with the fortress, which before was a forbidden city for everyone. And this is how the local actors embraced the new logo, the new strategy, and what they've developed with it. Not to mention also, in this slide, you can see there have been many events, many festivals, from medieval events to gastronomic events, which took place in the city, and where we're trying to promote also the local actors to become more involved, and including local farmers if possible as well. These are just a few examples. Unfortunately, the time does not allow to develop more. Just a few examples to see how food came into this process of city branding and how things can develop on multiple layers thanks to these innovation. So brand strategy indeed can change a city's history. So we invite all partners to dare to reinvent their city into new outcomes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tudor, for your presentation and the challenge that you made us to dare to reinvent our cities. Yes, this is really a good example of what we can do and to transform and to give notorious to our products and our regions. And now I would like to call Antonio, our lead expert, who is with us from the beginning and is going to talk about food corridors and European regions of gastronomy and compelling comparing. So it's about his experience also that is in Urbat and also in his personal level of our projects and his projects that is involved. Thank you, Antonio, and please, the floor is yours.
It isn't only in Britain that spring this year has taken everyone by surprise. Here, in the Ticino, on the borders of Switzerland and Italy, the slopes overlooking Lake Lugano have already burst into flower, at least a fortnight earlier than usual. But what, you may ask, has the early and welcome arrival of bees and blossom to do with food? Well, it's simply that the past winter, one of the mildest in living memory, has had its effect in other ways as well. Most important of all, it's resulted in an exceptionally heavy spaghetti crop. The last 2 weeks of March are an anxious time for the spaghetti farmer. There's always the chance of a late frost, which, while not entirely ruining the crop, generally impairs the flavor and makes it difficult for him to obtain top prices in world markets. But now these dangers are over, and the spaghetti harvest goes forward. Spaghetti cultivation here in Switzerland is not, of course, carried out on anything like the tremendous scale of the Italian industry. Many of you, I'm sure, will have seen pictures of the vast spaghetti plantations in the Po Valley. For the Swiss, however, it tends to be more of a family affair. Another reason why this may be a bumper year lies in the virtual disappearance of the spaghetti weevil, the tiny creature whose depredations have caused much concern in the past. After picking, the spaghetti is laid out to dry in the warm alpine sun. Many people are often puzzled by the fact that spaghetti is produced at such uniform length. But this is the result of many years of patient endeavor by plant breeders who've succeeded in producing the perfect spaghetti. And now, the harvest is marked by a traditional meal. Toasts to the new crop are drunk in these boccolinos. And then the waiters enter bearing the ceremonial dish. And it is, of course, spaghetti. Picked earlier in the day, dried in the sun, and so brought fresh from garden to table at the very peak of condition. For those who love this dish, there's nothing like real homegrown spaghetti.
Hello, everybody. Real homegrown spaghetti. Funny, really, isn't it? It has been said that this video is one of the greatest hoaxes ever told by at least one media outlet, such as BBC. After watching the coverage in 1957, many viewers called the BBC eager to buy their trees. Now, more than 60 years has passed, and I believe that even today, with food consumers and producers more disconnected than ever, we might believe in many hoaxes like the one we have just seen. As consumers, as producers, citizens, technicians, professionals, or perhaps politicians, we are faced with a crucial choice. Do we continue to distance ourselves from the food system that nourishes us and believe whatever we are taught? Or do we become protagonists, determined to break these distances between city and countryside production and consumption? If this second option appeals to you, you are in the right place. Today, we are joining the European Regions of Gastronomy Initiative and the Food Corridors Network of cities. In this slide, I would like to invite Vera to share with all of you one slide I have prepared to show you and to share with you how both initiatives, the European Regions of Gastronomy and the Food Corridors Network, have many connections regarding the focal themes that motivate us, many connections in terms of topics and focus areas. We have, is the second one slide, please, Vera. Could you pass the...
I already did.
Okay. Anyway, you could see later.
I'll share again. So,
If not,
do you see it now?
no, is the other. Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you see now?
Yes.
Okay. So as you could see here, this is the focus areas promoted by the European Regions of Gastronomy. And this is the topics we have selected, principal themes for Food Corridors Network. So we are working in the same direction. And, it's critical and fundamental in the URBACT program to create alliances, to collaborate and to create synergies with other similar initiatives and strategies promoted in the European Union. And this is why we are today presenting all of you together these two initiatives, the European Regions of Gastronomy and the Food Corridors Network. So I hope you enjoy what you are going to hear. And I also invite you to leave us your comments through the chat and contact us after the webinar if you want to keep moving forward together in this compelling challenge of promoting territorial and sustainable food systems for the planet, for the people, for all of us. Welcome to this URBACT webinar. And Paula, when you want, you can continue, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio, for your film. I finally found the secret of spaghetti. I didn't really know, but now I can put it on my balcony. So to try if it's getting better. Thank you. But it's also important to talk about what you said and relate and see how these programs, European Regions of Gastronomy and Food Corridors, are so linked on its aims, products, our territory, our culture. So it's really very important what we're talking about here today. And about World Regions of Gastronomy, we have here with us Diane Dot, sorry, and, who is the president of ICCAT, the International Institute of Gastronomy, Culture, Arts and Tourism. And I give Diane, please share with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I think the link between urban and rural is very important, and it's important for us. It's one of our focus areas. And I'm trying to, as I'm talking, share my screen. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. So I was asked to sum up what is the World Region of Gastronomy, and of course within that the European Region of Gastronomy project, and what's behind it all. And I thought the best way to do that in a quick way would be to have you multitasking. So I'm going to have a video on in the background, but I'm going to talk over it and give you a bit more insight into what we're doing. And then I want to come back and comment on really what Antonio has raised, because I think it's really interesting. So I'll start the video, and hopefully you can hear me and the video. Tell me if I need to turn the sound of the video down.
Sorry, Diane. Diane,
Can you hear me?
Diane, you need to do the thing while you put the sound in the video. Remember the share for motion and video?
Okay,
But
let me try. Can you hear me as well or not?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Okay, it's more important that you can hear me. You can see the video? Yes, fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so no worries. What the video is trying to show here is that ICCAT, which is the operating body for the European Regions of Gastronomy and now the World Regions of Gastronomy, is a body that's trying to work across sectors. And so what we promote is cross-sectorial collaboration. And in fact, to become a region of gastronomy, that's what you have to do first. You have to bring many stakeholders together from culture, gastronomy, arts, it could be from environment, education, tourism, to talk about the challenges that your region has with regards to promoting and protecting your cultural and food diversity. And then the idea is that together you will find solutions. And what we do is give a framework for that by providing an award that creates kind of the energy or the urgency. If you're putting a bid together to have an award, it creates an urgency for people to start working together and to cooperate, to build a program of events that will talk about some of these big issues like the one that Antonio just raised, and so on. So first of all, ICCAT promoted the European Region of Gastronomy Award, and it started in 2016. We have now 15 European Regions of Gastronomy that are awarded, and this means that they meet a certain amount of criteria, and the criteria that we set for the regions is that they build an extensive program to look at all sorts of focus areas. And thank you, Antonio, for showing those already. And I'll come back to those in a moment as well, each one. But our European Regions of Gastronomy, they did more than that. They said, well, it's very nice to have an award for a year, but actually we want longer term solutions and a longer term legacy. So from working with the awarded regions of gastronomy, we have now developed the European Region of Gastronomy platform. We're working on many joint projects, some of which you saw in that little video there. to try to really address some of the issues that our regions had identified. And some of those, I'll just stop that now, were to do with questions of international visibility. So, for example, we didn't have good audiovisual materials that were showing and demonstrating our region successfully. So the platform set about having a competition to promote audiovisuals or fictional materials or short films about the regions of gastronomy that would tell the stories behind the region's gastronomy. We also identified that we needed to somehow stimulate young chefs to think about sustainability and to think about issues such as food waste, reducing plastics, changing the balance of elements on our plates, because it's really not sustainable to think that we will continue consuming meat and fish, for example, in the quantities that we currently do. We need to go back to our grandparents' kind of diets, where, you know, which were much more vegetable based, and that meat and fish was reserved for special occasions. And how do we do that? And how do we stimulate people to want to do that? How do you build awareness about that? And how do you get, so we thought, oh, maybe young chefs could do that. So we started working to develop the European Young Chef Award, which is to find young chef ambassadors to make these changes. We also recognized that we needed more innovation, that traditional food and traditional food recipes are all very nice, but maybe not appealing for a contemporary audience. And so young people are not buying or not recognizing that their traditional food is actually really cool or really chic as well. And so the idea was to try to stimulate this, you know, innovation on traditional food types. So we developed the local food gift challenge, and I'm very happy that we'll be in Coimbra to celebrate the second edition of the European Food Gift Challenge in July. And we also just recently identified that we wanted to recognize apps, portals, or platforms that are stimulating new creative tourism initiatives. So that's going to be a new award that will be rolling out with the European Regions of Gastronomy next year. So there's all sorts of exciting things coming out of this project. How does it differ from European projects like Food Corridors? And I think it's just that this is a backbone. It's kind of a backbone project, that it's a long-term project that the regions feed into. And then from that, they build their own consortiums between one another to build, to look for solutions to particular problems that they have or challenges that they have together. And in doing so, they can look for EU funding and projects that they can share their knowledge through. So it's an exciting moment. A lot of our regions of gastronomy, different stakeholders are in different consortiums and different EU projects. And it's always really exciting to talk to them and to find out how they are really, you know, going into depth and looking for solutions and sharing their ideas. And you can find out a lot more about the European Regions of Gastronomy and how to apply if your region wanted to apply. I know I'm talking to cities here, but our criteria for a region is at least 3 cities working together with the surrounding rural areas. So technically you could have a consortium of cities working together to brand an area or identify an area. So it doesn't have to be, but we can't work with just one city. We have to work with the rural area around it. And the European Regions of Gastronomy, they've been really so successful and in raising awareness about the importance of cultural and food uniqueness, stimulating innovation, educating, lots of school programs now working to really re-educate children in where their food comes from, We talk a lot about sustainable tourism standards, and I'm sure Barbara will tell you more about that, because Slovenia is doing an excellent job in rolling out sustainable policies in gastronomy and tourism, and highlighting distinctive food cultures, because we have such a rich variety of food cultures in Europe that, you know, it's really, you know, raising awareness about just how, you know, how diverse and how good quality we have in Europe, and then trying to conserve that when we're working against rather harsh globalization trends in terms of food. And you know, the other thing is strengthening community well-being. So one of the nicest achievements, I think, of this whole initiative for me has been to see how communities come together, and how they start working together to create a kind of pride and to reactivate many different sectors to think about their food future and culture. So I'm really excited about this program, and I'd love to share more, but I know I've only got 10 minutes. So just to show you, on our website, there's a brochure here that explains much more about what we're doing, and to initiate the focus areas. So the focus areas cover things from feeding the planet, which is like food waste, reducing plastics, supporting bee pollinators, etc., etc. Innovation, creativity, and job opportunities, particularly in the agri-food sector, looking at how we can be competitive, but at the same time conserve the quality of our food in Europe and support that. Educating for our future, again, things like teaching kids about how to grow plants and how to cook again. I mean, it's very sad for me that the European Parliament brought out a recommendation in 2013 already, asking that governments bring food education back into the school curriculum, and still that hasn't been achieved. And I think that's a real crime. Balanced and sustainable tourism, so looking at not advocating for mass tourism, but looking at really smart strategies in how we can have less tourists but spending more. And we have a real opportunity to do that now, because we know that the newer generations or younger generations will spend less on accommodation but much more on experiences. So if you can give them food experiences, then, you know, you can usually work with less tourists and have expensive food experiences that will make a nice balanced kind of tourism for rural areas or urban areas. And then the whole question of linking urban and rural, and for example, short supply chains, and particularly for example, organic food. So we have projects that are really looking at how does a farmer who wants to sell organic food or wants to be more, you know, but needs to be competitive, how he can expand his client base or her client base throughout a region, and minimize costs. And there's some really exciting initiatives in Scandinavia with that regard that are now spreading across Europe. And in well-being and healthier living, obviously the backbone of all of this is to ensure that we have healthy and good and nutritional food on our plates. And it's always been a big crime for us to see that public procurement on food for schools or hospitals has tended to favor the cheaper supplier rather than the healthiest supplier or the healthier food option. And we feel that this has been a mistake, but it needs, you know, long-term solutions to develop kind of a rethink about, okay, what is healthy and what is accessible in terms of economy. So there are all these questions that we're working with. I think I've gone over my time already, so thank you so much, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. And congratulations to Coimbra for being European Region of Gastronomy this year. The jury were incredibly impressed with all the work that you're doing. So keep doing it, and looking forward to hearing more food stories from you.
Thank you, Diane, for your presentation, and also the words, the kind words that you gave us today. And to show us also more about what European Regions of Gastronomy project is about, and also about the aims of the better quality through education, creativity, food cultures, well-being, and cultural food. Also, some of the aspects you referred, and the linking local and urban and local products is also one of aims of our food corridor. So thank you very much. I think we have a question for you, Diane, from Adele. That she's asking, does this initiative bring the award winners together in any way? Is training or capacity building offered to winners?
Absolutely, Adele. It's absolutely crucial for us. So thank you for the question. Yes, the platform, we try to bring the platform stakeholders together as often as we can. Of course, that's not been very easy during COVID. So what we've done is very much switched to online. So we have platform meetings twice a year. We have a meeting in Brussels, normally a high-level political meeting, to share our findings and try to put the pressure on the politicians. We also have website resources, so we have tools and webinars and training, small videos and so on, and best practices. And we're really hoping to print a publication this year of our best practices across the region, so that we can share that more widely, because there are some excellent projects that have come out of the European Regions of Gastronomy, and they really need to be shared.
Antonio also asks and wants to know more about the European Region Gastronomy's impact. What happens after the celebration? Which outcomes could be found at the regional level in terms of achievements and transformation related to the baseline position?
Wow. Okay, that's a big question, but so many results. So for example, the social cohesion, the working together. So one of the results has really been, and it's probably the one that most impact is seen, is where you see different sectors coming together and working together for the first time ever. And that stimulates long-term working. And the other thing is the long-term gastronomy plans that the Regions of Gastronomy put into place. The third thing is international visibility. So many of the Regions of Gastronomy have been featured in, major travel and food magazines and in different forums worldwide. So that's very exciting for them. And then, at another level, it attracts investment. So a little bit like the European Capital of Culture and so on, it does have a tendency to have a snowballing effect where, private industry wants to join and get involved, as well as, be a banner with which to work for EU project funding and so on. So many of our Regions of Gastronomy have attracted investment. And I think one of the best examples of that was Galway, west of Ireland in 2018. Galway is 3 hours journey from Dublin. But the national government was thinking about investing in a bio-innovator food hub. It's kind of to bring artists and food producers together, and they were looking for a location, a logical location for that, and they decided to move it to Galway, and they invested in it. It's a 4 million investment in this food hub in Galway, because Galway had the title of European Region of Gastronomy, and it just made logical sense for them to make that investment there. So I think, you know, we have many kind of sporadic results. It's difficult sometimes to evaluate across the whole network some things, because you say, well, was that a result of being European Region of Gastronomy, or was that other stimuli for that? I don't know, but what I do know is there is a feel-good sensation that starts happening that is then you know, something that attracts then people to want to join together. And you know, I don't know if you want me to add to that, but for me, it's actually the feel-good feeling that is the nicest thing that comes out of this. But maybe Barbara would like to say something too about this, because, you know, it's great to have the European Regions of Gastronomy here, because it's always better to hear it from the horse's mouth, as they say. And what it's done for their own regions. And I think it's almost more important to hear it from them.
Diane, I think that Barbara arrived a little bit later. She had a previous event, but she can talk more about the things you have just said and give in first person her testimony. But we are still having more questions for you, Diane.
Good.
So one of our partners is Maria. Hello, Maria. She's asking, Diane, are the contestants that didn't win in previous years and returned to the competition? Is the evaluation process also pointing out possible weakness that can be corrected?
Okay, actually, yeah, there's always a big misconception about whether the European Regions of Gastronomy is a competition. And it's not a competition. We decided to take that away. It's not like the European Capital of Culture. It's about meeting certain criteria. And so we have quite a detailed evaluation form for independent experts when they visit the region, and they go and assess whether the region is ready to be a European Region of Gastronomy. So it's about meeting criteria. But when a region commits to join the platform as a candidate region, then we commit to work with them, and we give them access to the whole platform. They can meet their peers in other regions that have already gone through the process. They can see the way other regions have dealt with certain issues. And we really push them to find their own solutions. So it's a question of them giving us a convincing argument that they have a plan, a strategy, a budget, a stakeholder group that's committed to working together, and then we can work with them and nurture the region to become a region of gastronomy for the awarded year, because they're often applying 3 years in advance of the award. So it's about working with the regions to ensure that they get to that. I think every region has the potential to be a region of gastronomy, some more than others. And ICAT advises the regions on that, and would say, you know, maybe you need to wait a little, you know, you need to have this in place and this in place and this in place before we go for the award, because so it's a 2-stage process. The first is joining the platform as a candidate. We start working with you, and then then you bid for the award for the year that you want the award. At that point, it's a little bit out of our hands in a sense, because ICAT organizes an independent jury to visit, and they assess, and they make the recommendation to ICAT board as to whether you should be awarded or not. Then ICAT board will check the reports of the jury, and they may come back to the region and ask them to adjust something or clarify something. And I think probably the biggest thing for us is always to do with the governance. Who is leading the project? Who will be coordinating the projects? Will there be a strong stakeholder engagement in the process? And how is that going to be assured? So these are the kinds of things that the board of ICAT are looking at And the jury, the independent jury, are looking at all the other aspects, and we always send experts from different sectors. So there's somebody from agri-food that will go to the region, somebody more from hospitality and the gastronomy sector, somebody more from maybe cultural or a historian and so on, to look at that aspect, somebody maybe more to do with environment, depending on where we think there is a need. So, for example, in Coimbra, we didn't send anybody from hospitality training, for example, because we knew that they have that very well covered and, you know, with their excellent hospitality skills. So we didn't want to do that, but maybe we sent people from tourism because it's something that they wanted to develop further. And so we thought it would be easy, it would be good to send somebody that would really dig into, okay, what were the needs of Coimbra, and did they have a sufficiently good plan in place to be able to carry it out? And where could we help in the longer term for them to achieve that? So in Slovenia, they have an excellent tourism sector and hospitality sector, and I think for us, again, it was a region that, you know, it's a no-brainer. Both regions, Coimbra and Slovenia, are fantastic regions that have a great food culture, a great connection to the heritage and traditions, and so it was, you know, it's been a real pleasure to work with both. And so I hope that's answered the question. Sorry, I could talk forever. That's the problem. I have to stop myself because nobody will stop me otherwise.
Thank you, Diane. It was really, really good to hear from you and heard these experiences and how make this process work. If anyone else has more questions, please feel free to put them by chat and Diane, or privately, and also each of our speakers certainly respond to the questions that you may have. Now we are going to a short break before we're going to the second part of webinar. So 5 minutes, please, at 12:05 we'll be together again. Thank you. See you soon.
Going downtown, see a man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. Hit that jive jack, put it in your pocket, like it back. Time and time waits for no man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. Hit that jive jack, put it in your pocket, like it back. Going downtown, see a man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. Hit that jive jack, put it in your pocket, like it back. Time and time waits for no man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. Hit that jive jack, put it in your pocket, like it back. Going downtown, see a man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. Hit that jive jack, put it in your pocket, like it back. Time and time waits for no man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. Hit that jive jack, put it in your pocket, like it back. Going downtown, see a man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. Hit that jive jack, put it in your pocket, like it back. Time and time waits for no man, and I ain't got time. Shake your hand. tango, shake your hand. Hit that style, put it in pockets like it's back. Going downtown, see a man, and I ain't got time to shake your hand. Hit that style, put it in pockets like it's back. Time and time waits for no man, and I ain't got time to shake your hand. Get that style, put it in pockets like it's back. Going downtown, see a man, and I ain't got time to shake your hand.
Este verão. You got to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative and latch on to the affirmative, but don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy up to the maximum and bring gloom down to the minimum and have faith. A pandemonium liable to walk up on the scene. To illustrate my last remark, Johnny in the well, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looked so dark? Man, they said we got to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative and hang on to that affirmative, but don't mess with Mr. In Between. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the well, Noah in the ark. Tell me, what did they do just when everything looked so dark? Man, they said we've got to accent with the positive and eliminate the negative and hang on to that affirmative, but don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess. Oh, baby, I said don't mess. You better not. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Yeah.
Hope everyone has enjoyed the break. So for my part, I am done for now.
So welcome back. Just one more minute. I said 12:05, so anyone is still waiting? Just one more minute. It's really great to see the participation in our webinar today and all the interest that these matters, that these issues matter to us. They are so important, and especially in these times, these difficult times for all of us, and to think about the future and how can we prepare better for it. So now it's about Coimbra. George was going to be with us today, but he's representing food corridors in another seminar in a Spanish National URBACT meeting is going on in Coruña. So couldn't be here with us today because it's at the same time. So he couldn't really participate with us. So it's about it's up to me to talk a little and to show you all. First, I have a small presentation, but then I want to show you a small video that we have about some of our territory and our products that are so important for us. I hope that you're seeing my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So 2021 is going, and 2022 is going to be great years for Coimbra region as we celebrate recognition of being a European region of gastronomy. Our theme is A Million Food Stories. We want to talk about our stories behind the products, how to preserve and building memories. This is the recognition of the diversity and richness of our territory. It's about people, it's about roots, traditions, textures, talent, and innovation. During the process and thinking about the future, we want to mobilize young people and storytellers, reinforce the distinctive elements and also what is authentic, valorization of our products and culture manifestations, and stimulate the consumption of seasonal products, shortening the supply chain and boosting the local economy. This is also related to what our project Food Corridors is about, and that gained importance also with the pandemic and COVID-19. We want also to do gastronomic events that are more attractive and notorious, new design and common communication, integrating sustainability principles, and create a toolkit with the main guidelines. We are going to organize annual events calendar and make it available. We'll have a training and qualification program of local agents, also stimulating co-working and networking, and about infrastructures for empowerment, namely in the area of universal accessibilities. During the pandemic, COVID-19, we couldn't make the traditional cheese and other products markets in the conventional ways. So we put our products in an e-commerce platform to make it accessible to all consumers by internet. This is just a small presentation, but what we want also to show you is a video and some good of examples of our products and some of the stories that make our region. And I would like also to thank all of those who made this video possible. Thank you. And Vera, please, I'm just going to stop sharing.
A Queijaria dos Lobos surge em 2001, resultado de uma aquisição de conhecimentos pelo meu pai, que quando entramos na União Europeia esteve muito ativo na certificação do queijo Serra da Estrela. A família já era detentora de rebanho há várias gerações e ele, como um médico cirurgião, contactava desde a década de 70 com muitas queijeiras e pastores e foi reunindo assim com bastante conhecimento sobre esta arte. Percebeu que na União Europeia o que tínhamos que fazer era lutar pelo aquilo que era único e que era nosso, porque obviamente nunca iremos concorrer em quantidade, mas sim poderemos concorrer em qualidade com os outros países. Portanto, é também uma atividade artesanal, com todas as vicissitudes que uma atividade artesanal tem, com muitos imponderáveis, com muitas surpresas, de ano para ano há sempre qualquer coisa a desafiar-nos. Portanto, isto torna-se um desafio muito grande, mas que se vai combatendo e para o qual vamos tendo alguns apoios, nomeadamente da Câmara de Oliveira do Hospital e todo este projeto do Food Corridors, que através de uma associação com a DOT, decidiram o ano passado, na primeira fase, no primeiro confinamento, que uma vez que não era possível fazer a festa do queijo Serra da Estrela nos moldes tradicionais, que fariam então uma festa do queijo Serra da Estrela virtual e levaram-nos a associar-nos à DOT, a apresentar-nos aí os nossos produtos e assim estarem disponíveis para todos aqueles consumidores que se atrevem a comprar através da internet o queijo, um produto tão simples quanto o queijo, mas que não é muito normal comprar através da internet.
Nós viemos para aqui em 1971, para este local. E mesmo dentro deste local, como é óbvio, houve um crescimento natural e portanto, já fizemos muitas obras aqui. Já houve muitas alterações em relação à primitiva, digamos. O beirão é exatamente feito da mesma maneira e só há aqui uma pequena alteração. O beirão foi sempre feito pela minha mãe. A minha mãe é que o meu pai dedicou-se a muitos negócios, tivemos várias empresas, em que o beirão era uma pequenina empresa dentro das inúmeras empresas que tinha, e quem tratava do beirão, quem recebia as encomendas, quem o fabricava, quem pesava as plantas, era a minha mãe. De resto, o beirão faz-se exatamente da mesma maneira. Pesam-se as plantas, põem-se em maceração, destilam-se e depois é a mistura normal da água, do álcool e do açúcar para fabricar o licor. Neste momento, o beirão, digamos, sendo da Lausanne, já não é um produto, digamos, regional. É um produto, eu diria, totalmente nacional e mais, neste momento, já um produto europeu. É realmente uma marca com uma força e que começa a ter alguma força, inclusive na própria Europa. O licor beirão é vendido diretamente na casa das 50 nações, 50 países. Mas ele é bebido, temos conhecimento disso, em mais de uma centena de países. Penso até que em todos os locais onde há um português, bebe-se beirão. é uma dinamização e demonstra realmente a parte da CIM uma dinâmica que é importante a nível empresarial. Ligar Coimbra e ligar a região à Europa é um mérito extraordinário para a CIM, que eu tenho que, pessoalmente, eu tenho que agradecer.
O que é fazer sal? Fazer não, produzir. Nós só ajudamos. Quem faz o sal é o tempo, o clima é que faz o sal. O marnoto só apoia. Então o que o marnoto faz é utiliza o sol, utiliza o vento, utiliza a natureza e sustentavelmente guia essa água para fazer o nosso cristal, o nosso ouro branco que dá tempero à comida. Sal da figueira é especial porquê? Porque tem um sabor amargo, tem os sais minerais todos presentes no mar, não sofre processos de tratamento, quer dizer que é um produto mais tradicional, mais natural, que vai diretamente da nossa salina, da nossa marinha de sal, para a nossa mesa. Então é muito solúvel e dá um toque refinado aos alimentos e os alimentos ficam com um sabor assim, explosivo. Claro que este produto é um produto que cada vez mais o público procura este tipo de sal, porque mais ligado à natureza e sem produtos transformados e sem produtos adicionados, químicos. Então, ao usar este sal, também estamos a manter uma sustentabilidade, não só social, económica, mas ambiental, porque por trás deste sal está todo este ecossistema, o ecossistema da fauna e da flora, que é bastante visível aqui nas salinas da Figueira da Foz. O mar não é só mar de praia, de usufruto, mas também alimentação, gastronomia. E temos um produto premium, como há bocado falávamos. O nosso sal marinho artesanal, a flor de sal, os produtos todos que estão associados. Flor de sal, a salicórnia, cada vez mais em voga. Por isso o sal, quando nós falamos de sal da figueira não é só sal da figueira. É uma variante de produtos que estão aglutinados ao sal da figueira. E claro que nós temos que dar a conhecer à pessoa, porque só conhecendo, só o público em geral conhecendo o nosso sal da Figueira da Foz, o vai valorizar e vai consumir. Nós encontramos aqui no estuário do Mondego, é onde se encontram as salinas da Figueira da Foz. Estamos aqui nos armazéns de lados, onde se encontra o núcleo zoológico de sal na Marinha Corredor da Cobra. Temos aqui a Ilha da Morraceira, onde se encontra a maior parte das salinas a funcionar e ativas da Figueira. O nosso rio Mondego, o nosso braço do rio, que é o braço de Laves, e temos aqui o nosso Atlântico, a matéria-prima para o nosso sal. E o nosso sal da Figueira da Foz é o primeiro sal da Europa.
This is a video that shows some of our products, and it's very proud that we show them, and also the stories behind them, because it's about this that our region is talking about. And so this is some of what we wanted to share with you. Sure, we are going to make more, because our region is so rich and in products and in gastronomy, that we want to share it with all of you. But now it's time for Barbara to speak about the perspectives of sustainability and gastronomy tourism in Slovenia. Barbara, want to hear more from Slovenia.
Barbara, we are not hearing you. Probably need to unmute yourself.
I think now it's fine.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry for this. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to present some thoughts and ideas about Slovenia and our effort in the field of sustainability and especially sustainable gastronomy. So to start, to put Slovenia on the map, I would just like to show that we like to say that Slovenia is positioned in the heart of Europe, and this position, these geographical positions makes us unique in terms of Europe, while it's a place where four distinct geographical worlds meet. It's the conjunctions of Alps, Mediterranean, Pannonian Plain, and the karst. So all this gives us a good chance, and we have 4 different regions for Slovenian tourism to make or to create extreme diversity of different experiences that we like to offer to our guests. So logically that our vision is positioned and formed the same way. So Slovenia is positioned as a green boutique destination for 5 stars experiences, also in the field of gastronomy, where we put a lot of emphasis on the small producers, providers, chefs, restaurants. And this is our positioning strategy. Actually, it's built on 3 different pillars. We say people first, when we have a lot of exceptional individuals making different exciting stories, spectacular environment, and of course sustainable production. And if we want to make a points of difference or distinction for Slovenia, we always start with telling the story about our people, whether they're top chef, local producers, wine producers, or anybody else. Then focusing on nature, on our predispositions, about our diversity, integrity, also on our unspoiled nature. And you can drink tap water actually anywhere in Slovenia. And of course, regarding the sustainability, we are building our position and focusing on peace. Maybe you know that Slovenia was among the countries who get the initiative that the May 20 is the official bid day. We are famous for our natural wines, and regarding our habits, like people, we almost everybody of Slovenia has his own garden, and we like to go to the forest, pick the wild flowers and fruit, similar. So the first Slovenian gastronomy strategy was prepared back in 2006. And back then we identified 24 different gastronomy regions because of diversity and geographical conjunctions of different types of landscape. And this is quite a lot for such a small country. And in the process from 2006, Professor Bogataj, who's also the spirit guardian of our regional gastronomy project, he identified during his research work more than 400 different typical dishes, drinks, and ingredients typical for those regions of Slovenia. So if we want to be positioned and be successful in our endeavors as a boutique destination, we understand that we have to work closely together in all levels, national, regional, and also on the scale of business. So our strategy implemented the Taste Slovenia national brand. And according to this brand, we have a lot of different destination brands, culinary brands, but they all have the same foundation and the same vision. So the foundations are our gastronomy strategy and those typical dishes, and of course the principles of sustainability. In the meantime, from the first strategy until now, there has been developed a lot of different destination brands for some tourism destinations, the regions. I think we have more than 40 of them with different approaches, but with the same foundation. And what is common to all our efforts and development issues is that we want that everybody in the tourism and also in the sector or agriculture understand how this gastronomy tourism value chain is built, and that each part of this value is important if we want to create a sustainable regional development also in this sector. Maybe what makes Slovenia a bit different from other countries in the field of developing gastronomy is the Slovenian green scheme of Slovenian tourism. And it's based on our philosophy. Again, we have 3 pillars. We like to do with these combinations, so it's easier to remember. So we say Slovenia is a green, we have a strong green pact. We act green according to the green scheme of Slovenian tourism. Until now, we included more than 150 different participants, destinations or providers. And of course, based on those facts, we promote Slovenia as a green destination. So Green Scheme of Slovenian Tourism is national program for development of sustainable tourism. It's also a certification program. And it's also, we have a brand, Slovenia Green, which is a brand within which we promote all our sustainability efforts. Green Scheme of Slovenian Tourism is developed in a way that covers 2 levels. One level is for nations and second is for tourism providers. Our foundations are that whether we are talking about destinations or providers, the destinations, they have to be evaluated according to 100 different criteria internationally recognized. For the providers, the precondition to enter the scheme is to obtain one of the environmental or sustainable certificate. In this year, as part of being a region of gastronomy, we decided to upgrade our scheme and to implement sustainable gastronomy into the skill. So we did it on both levels, for destinations and for providers. So what are the benefits for the destinations? Based on up to those 100 criteria that I mentioned before, we implemented additional model, especially for gastronomy. And if destination decided that destination wants to be evaluated according to this model, they can assess and improve the principles of sustainable gastronomy at the destination. It helps them to identify the best green providers and destination in the region. Also, they can motivate providers to obtain eco labels and promoting the networking of providers and tourism providers. So they are better in networking, connections, adding value, creating destinational brands. For providers, we established for the restaurants, up to this year, the restaurants couldn't enter. We launched a new label, Slovenia Green Cuisine. Before it was only Slovenia Green Accommodation, National Parks, Tourism Agency, and Tourist Attractions. And for this year, we implemented also Slovenia Green Cuisine. And from January up to now, we already have 12 restaurants entering the scheme, and we know that more than 20 in the process also. So it will be for the restaurants, they have to obtain green key or LEED certificate as an entry first step for entering the scheme, and plus they have to commit for a sustainable Slovenian gastronomy. It's a kind of pledge or commitment based on 7 principles. So providers say that they commit to serve authentic cuisine, efficient, supporting the local providers. It has to be nature-oriented, waste-free, focus on the eliminating single-use plastic, impeccable and responsible to the environment and also to employees. So the pledge for this commitment is also then prepared as the printed form and be hanged in the restaurant so that the guest can see. Each year we organize a Green Day of Slovenian tourism. So 1 week from today, that's Thursday, we will have the 5th week. Unfortunately, for the second time in a row in the virtual form. If there wouldn't be the COVID pandemic, it would be, of course, a live event. On those live events, we also, part of this event is also celebrating and revelation of the new holders of this Slovenian Green label. And if the scenario would be the optimistic one, we would also host European Regional Gastronomy Platform members to attend or partly attend this event to see how it works in practice. So for the Region of Gastronomy and our title, there's a lot of different activities going on and a lot of stakeholders involved. We have 21 partners who signed the agreement based on the charter. We have 150 supporters, and we got the new ones each day. So it's a lot of projects going on. So we decided just to make a focus on a few of them, which we consider also as a kind of a legacy that will be left behind when the title will be over. Before presenting them, I would just like to highlight that next week we are also hosting the Spring into Recovery webinar. This is a kind of a supplement for hosting platform members live in Slovenia, and one day will be focused especially on the resilience and recovery, and the second day of rising excellent experience tourism, and a lot of different partners and EduCat members, expert members will be participating. So we are really looking forward and welcoming all of you to register and to attend the event. So about those top projects that's being part of our European Regional Gastronomy Year. One is the one that I presented before. It's implementation of gastronomy in the green scheme of Slovenian tourism for restaurants, and the possibility for them to acquire a new label, Slovenia Green Cuisine. Second, very important, is launching a domestic campaign. We started with a campaign last year, and we are continuing and upgrading it also this year. It's called Now It's Time My Slovenia. This is the campaign for the domestic market. Most of the tourism stakeholders, destination providers can join, create their own content or share it with us to our channels so that we can create an awareness about the gastronomy of the offer of Slovenia in this field, to highlight those best providers, best practices, best experiences. We are also now in the process of finalizing a special sustainable tour, wine and gastronomy, a 7-day tour from the west to the east of Slovenia, connecting only those Slovenian green destinations and providers with the labels, offering a low carbon footprint experiences, so also positioning the providers and Slovenia in the terms of sustainability. There's a lot of talks, activities, thinking of how to eliminate the plastic and to produce less food waste. It's a difficult topic, but we have to make some additional steps in this field. So probably besides the guidelines and training, we will have to prepare something else, and this is our job for the future. So how we measure our success if the year of gastronomy and the whole project was successful? We said, okay, let's have kind of 5 KPIs. One is that we have to realize as much as possible projects that are planned in our big book, maybe because of the COVID situation, not any other excuses accepted. So then we have to be successful with our national campaign that was mentioned before. We want to have as much as possible supporters. A Slovenian Green Cuisine label to be implemented at least with 30 restaurants. We set these goals last year, so I think that this goal wasn't very optimistically set because I'm sure that we have 30 and more this year. Then, of course, we want to share the knowledge and the support for the project and to invite new supporters. And with the campaign and all the activities, we want the citizens to be included, to understand and to build this understanding that this project is not about, like it was before, the conversation about or the events. Of course, events are important, but it's about also changing our mindset, putting the focus on the proper things, acting responsibly, and developing sustainable gastronomy through the whole value chain. So thank you. This was both from our side, and maybe you can recognize the similarity. One is Coimbra picture, and the second is the city of Maribor. Also, our stakeholders, I think the two regions are very similar, and we are proud that we can be sharing the title here, Portugal and Coimbra especially. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. It's really a great pleasure to share with you this year our European regions of gastronomy. And you are right. These images from our cities are very similar. Some points in common. And I would like to thank you for showing us all the work you've been doing and the quality that you put in your products, and I would just want to say that we would like to that soon we can experiment in presence all of those the richness that you brought us today. Thank you. And now staying with Slovenia, also Elena, how are you there?
Yes, of course.
Good morning, Elena. How are you?
Good, thank you. Okay, we are waiting the sun to come up because usually the May in Slovenia is very beautiful, but now we have a lot of rain now. So perhaps I will start very shortly with our region. I'm really glad, and I would like to congratulate also Barbara for this great presentation. I'm coming from Alpine region, where we have also the only national park in Slovenia. In our region, we have over 50% of Natura 2000. And I think our region is very much connected to local food, to local identity, to local resources. And this is how we live. And what I think is also important, as I would say for all Slovenia, that we still have very strong connection to the nature, and also to the products that come from the earth, that come from the farmers' work, if I can say so, no? And also we have several local brands that are working together with local producers, helping them in developing their products, and some of them are really very much, they are very excellent, and also they are very much connected to the restaurants, and also to the very good chefs, no? And perhaps it was not mentioned by Barbara, but last year was the first year when Slovenia got the first Michelin stars. And we are very proud that also in our region we have some chefs with Michelin stars. And before I stop, I would like also to invite you to look a very nice video about the initiative Taste Radolca, where the local producers are very much connected to the restaurants, and the local food are from the very good chefs are served to the guests. And please enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. We are just about to have lunch, and with all these products, just a shame that we can't eat them with all of us. Well, and before we just have now a small game to play with all that are present with us. It's called Taste Coimbra Region and Slovenia Flavor. Vera, please, I'll give the word to you if you want to present it and talk about, please.
Yes, since Coimbra region and Slovenia are indeed celebrating their heritage and their food stories, we came up with a small game. So I advise you to be quick. It only allows for 25 participants and you get a prize. There will be 3 winners and we'll be giving some gifts. I have mine here from Coimbra region and the regions of gastronomy. Slovenia also has them. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. So be quick, is up to 25 participants, okay? I'm going to share my screen also. You are seeing it now. So click on the link. You can use your computer. Yes, I see people are coming together. This is a quiz with questions, both from Coimbra region and Slovenia. Some facts from our regions, other are from our presentations. So let's see who learns and who knows our regions better. Okay. We have 14. There are still more people who can join. 15. Okay. People from all over Europe. I like seeing this. 17. We still have more room for more. Okay. Anyone else wants to join? Okay. 28. 18. One more meet. Okay. Let's go, people. Let's reach the 25 and then I'll start. Just a few more. We just need 5 more people. Okay. Tudor joined us. Tudor, although he was a speaker, he did not know about this game. So he doesn't know the questions, neither does Antonio. So you know, just me and Elena know the answers. Okay, just 3 more people. So we can start. 24, one more. Just one more from the audience. Okay, well, since there is one person that is not yet, let's start. And okay, now there are the 25. Thank you. Please see your screen. Do not follow mine. For those of you who have entered the game, the other ones can watch from my screen on WebEx. So we have this is timed, so be quick, because that also counts for see who is going to be the winner on the podium. I will start it now. everyone must finish. I see that Antonio still hasn't finished. If not, I will end it. Okay, I'm going to end it. Wait, someone is still answering. Okay, so Katerina, Diane, and Adele, congratulations for winning. This was just a small game that we wanted to do with you. We will, for the people who are on the top 5, okay, please send me an email so we can send you the prizes. This was just a fun way to
Please
remember.
disqualify me and take the next one in the line, because I think it was a bit of a cheat for me to play. Were you 6? Okay. So yes, it's okay. I think it was a bit of a cheat for me to play.
Well, yeah, so everyone knows their rank. So please then send me an email to this one that I put on the chat. I think it was just a reminder for everyone to please, as soon as we can travel, to come and visit us, because we are ready to welcome you. And now I pass the word to Paula and Antonio to wrap it up.
Antonio, if you want to say some words, please.
Thank you, all of you. Congratulations, George. Again, you win a new prize. You are persistent. So we don't want to extend the scheduled time, but we would like to thank again all the speakers and attendees for your participation. And only to announce, we will publish a follow-up article to this webinar in a couple of weeks. So we will send you, all of you, a copy, or to all registered participants. And it was our first webinar, so we are very, very happy. And I think it will invite us to organize, probably after summer in September, a second webinar. But in the meanwhile, thank you very much, all of you, and continue working in this compelling and fascinating challenge we have in face of all of us. Thank you. Paula, please.
Yes, it was, for me, it was a great pleasure to be with all of you today. I think all the experiences that we shared here are very important for all of us. I would like to thank all our speakers. And I also, and like Antonio said, we are going to have more webinars. I just hope that there will be, it's not a webinar, but a present one with all of us. And that, I think, it's one of our greatest wishes. Thank you once again for all who are being with us today, and I see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.